my name is Paige with Sudsy Soapworks, and today we are going to be making a Easter bath bomb. I got this mold on Etsy. It's like a hatching chick. So we're going to be making this today. I'm going to be hand painting it. So if you want to see how we make this cute little bath bomb, please keep watching. So first we're going to do 1,000 grams of baking soda. Next we're going to be doing 40 grams of SLSA. And SLSA is good for providing that foam in the bath bomb. You don't necessarily have to do it, but instead of not using SLSA and then having your bath bomb just bubble, adding SLSA will help it foam. All right, now we're gonna add 75 grams of cornstarch. The cornstarch will help it become a harder bath bomb because it helps soak up all the extra water and oils that you use. With SLSA, you also want to make sure that you're wearing a mask or a respirator, just because the particles can become airborne and it really irritates your lungs. You don't really want to be breathing that stuff in, so just make sure you're wearing some sort of respirator. Okay, so I'm just mixing all of these up. And now we're going to add all of our wet ingredients. Alright, so for color in this bath bomb, I'm going to be using Nurture Soap Yellow No. 5 dye. This is the Skin Safe Water Soluble dye, and I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of that, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of distilled water. So in this recipe, I use 15 grams of distilled water, so that's what I'm going to add to the dye. And I'm just gonna mix this up and let the dye dissolve. All right, and then I'm just gonna mix it into my powder mixture. There we go. So now that my mixture is dyed, I'm gonna add the rest of my wet ingredients. So I use 10 grams of Polysorbate 80, and this ingredient just helps bind the oils to the water, so it helps prevent that like slick feeling in the tub, and it also assists in binding the color into the water. Now I'm just adding avocado oil, and I do 15 grams of this. As I've said in a previous video, these plastic molds mold way better when your mixture is more wet, so that's why I'm adding more oil than I normally do. All right, now I'm gonna add 30 grams of rubbing alcohol. You could substitute this for water. I would add less water than the rubbing alcohol and only add a little bit at a time because the rubbing alcohol does evaporate quicker, so it kind of assists your mixture from becoming too wet. Now I'm gonna add the fragrance oil. For my fragrance, I'm gonna be using Honey Buddy by Nature's Garden. And I'll be adding 14 grams of this. And I just realized I did forget to add my Kaolin Clay. So I'm gonna add some of that, and I do 10 grams of Kaolin Clay. And the Kaolin Clay just assists in a harder bath bomb again, and it also leaves like a really cool feeling in the water. So I'm just gonna mix this up. I kind of like rub it between my hands like this to make sure all the liquid is combined. So whenever you're adding citric acid, make sure you always add it at the end, because if you add it in the beginning and you add any water or isopropyl alcohol or anything, it will start to activate prematurely, and then your bath bomb won't perform as well in the tub, or sometimes not even perform at all. I'm adding 500 grams of this. A lot of times if your mixture starts to pre-activate, that can cause like a sinking bath bomb. It can cause a bath bomb not to fizz or foam as well as it should. So just always make sure you add your citric absolutely last. And you'll know that your bath bomb mix is ready if you squeeze it between your hand and you drop it and it doesn't break apart. All right, so the mixture is done. Now I'm going to get some parchment paper and we're going to start molding. So these molds, you want to make sure that you pack all of the details first. So I'm going to push all these down into the details, and then I'm going to fill the rest of the molds. And then after you're done packing it, it's good to take some kind of, you can use like a butter knife, you can use anything, but to like scrape it flat so it sits flat on the parchment paper. Right? And you're just gonna flip it over. And I kind of squeeze the sides to make sure that it lets loose. I wanted to add too, if this batch is too big, you can always cut it in half by just dividing everything by 2, or if you want to cut it into fourths to make a really small batch, you can just divide every ingredient by 4. You don't have to make a batch this big. I just do because this is the amount I need for my business right now. But again, if you just want to try this recipe, don't feel like you have to make the whole recipe. All right, everyone, we are back today to paint these bath bombs. I think I'm just gonna keep it simple. Rubbing alcohol with mica, and this is the Velvet Pearl mica from Nurture Soap. And I'm gonna paint the eggshells this color. I grabbed a larger brush so it can hold more mica paint and hopefully make this process quicker, because painting bath bombs takes quite a long time. When you're painting, you just want to make sure you're constantly mixing your mica paint, just because it does settle on the bottom pretty fast. So just make sure you're mixing that as you're painting, and it will be nice and opaque. Alright, there we go. And then just for this bath bomb, I'm going to paint every piece on it. Usually I will just paint one part for each bath bomb. Like I'll first work on all the shells and then I'll move on to the next color. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to paint each piece so you can see. So I'm gonna do orange for the beak. I'm going to put whites just on the little highlight of the eye. Then I'm gonna switch to black and do the rest of the eye in black. For the black, I actually do black oxide mixed with mica, because I don't have a black mica right now. For painting bath bombs, you would have to use rubbing alcohol. You can't use water just because water is going to start to activate. So there is the chick bath bomb all painted. Pretty cute. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and paint the rest of these. All right, so now that the eyes are painted, I am going to add some Easter egg shapes and colors to this. So first I'm gonna do a purple zigzag pattern. I'm gonna do the same thing to the bottom. And now I'm gonna do like pink polka dots.
You look like a painting. It's so frustrating. I hate it, yeah. I probably shouldn't say this.
All right, here is the final Hatching Chick Easter bath bomb. I hope you guys like it. I think it's super cute. You can see all the colors on there. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe down below, turn on the notification bell if you want to get notified every time we upload a video, and leave a comment if you have any questions. I try to answer all of your questions. And thanks again for watching. Bye, guys.
shouldn't say this. I probably